time of Nostradamus. And so it's very difficult to take all that particularly seriously.
The only negative aspect of this whole evening is going to be this. I'm concerned also that we don't. I'm concerned we don't have enough leftist tears tumblers on this table.
I do feel like there's a serious lack. Production team, get on it. We need clips. I need a steady supply of clips of the weeping and the gnashing of the teeth and the sackcloth, as well as the ashes. That's what I'm here for. That's what our people are here for. Give the people what they want is the first rule of broadcasting. Get on it, production people. So the current vote count right now in the state of Wisconsin, with 85% of the estimated vote total reported, Donald Trump has 1.468 million votes. Kamala Harris, 1.348 million votes. He's up 120,000 votes. He's expected to win that state by 1.8 percentage points. Take a look over at Pennsylvania. You now have 92% of the estimated vote total reported. Donald J. Trump, your 47th president of the United States. I'm just going to say it. It's happening, folks. It's all happening. Donald J. Trump is at 3.3 million votes. Kamala Harris at 3.08 million votes. He's up 220,000 votes with 92% of the vote counted. Over in Michigan, things are even worse for Kamala Harris. Over in Michigan, they have 63% of the estimated vote total reported, and she is already down 220,000 votes in the state of Michigan. He is currently up over 6% on her in the state of Michigan, with 63% reporting in Michigan. He's expected to win by about 2.5%.
Have you done the New York Times needle update?
Would you like to hear it?
I would really love.
It's very likely. It's almost pinned. It's almost pinned.
It is over 95% chance of victory for Donald Jamoglius Trump at this point in time. And it is
Anisha Trump.
It is wildly enjoyable. As you may have noticed, you've hit the punch drunk portion of this evening's program. It is indeed midnight. It is the witching hour here at the Daily Wire in Nashville. For those of you on the East Coast and up at 1 a.m. enjoying yourself, just enjoy it. Just bask in the magic that is this evening, because indeed there are very few nights like this. Birth of your children, the massive suffering of your enemies. It's really quite grand.
Speaking of the birth of your children, I texted my wife and I said, I think I legitimately might cry if Trump wins. We had our first son 8 months ago, and she said, "You did not cry when your son was born 8 months ago."
Well, he was born into an uncertain future.
Also, to be fair, you worked harder with regard to this than you did with regard to your son being born.
That is
there is that. Well, we are now being joined from an election headquarters where people are having a good time. Cassie Akiva joining us from Dave McCormick's election party in Pennsylvania. Welcome back, Cassie. Are they preparing at this point? It's a little nervous about opening the champagne. What's going on over there?
Thanks for having me. Right now, Dave McCormick just left the stage. He came on with his wife. They sort of declared victory. It wasn't exact. They were bragging about how they'll be in the Senate, but he said that the night's not over, but he's extremely confident. They're celebrating here. The party does not seem to be winding down, but things are looking very good for him. He's up by 100,000 votes right now. They're extremely confident.
Dave McCormick is an excellent candidate. I was proud to have campaigned with him last week in Pennsylvania. He's absolutely awesome. So, the mood in the room, Cassie, must be great. Everybody is looking at these results. I assume everybody's just going to stay there until somebody makes some sort of call, or is it just going to be an all-nighter for everybody?
It might be an all-nighter for us tonight, but we're going to be here covering it. But McCormick, I don't think he's going to bed right now, but he's definitely having fun. He's mingling with people. He's really good at that. We were on the campaign trail with him, and he's really having a good night. And it's worth mentioning, he was down 10 points in the polls this summer.
Yes, he was.
This is a huge victory for him. He really turned it around. He said that he has the best campaign staff in the country. I'm starting to think he's right with that big victory there. So
I mean, it is worth pointing out. Cassie, as you point out, if you remember in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump kind of didn't know what to do with Kamala when she first was swapped in. And it was McCormick's campaign that was putting out excellent ads about Kamala Harris, right off the top. This has been an incredibly professional race from Dave McCormick, again, demonstrating that when you run good candidates in swing states, you can indeed win. Cassie, you've dealt with Dave. He is a pro.
Yeah.
Greetings, fellow geezer. How the hell are you?
Oh, I'm in a much better mood today than I was earlier. Not that I was worried. I didn't watch.
You mean I have better mood than you were in the last 4 years?
Yeah, that too. Yeah. There's some people are going to shit. Because I know they haven't called California yet, but I think what in the hell's his name? He was going against Shit for Brains, and or he's a baseball player. I can't remember his name.
Is that in California?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm not following any of that, but I've been watching the Daily Wire.
See, the internet for the win, gang. Okay, so at this point, I would like to point out the next swing state that no one's talking about. Okay, so Nevada is now reporting at this point. Nevada,
I can't hear
approximately.
You can't hear me?
How much of the vote in? 68%
of the vote in. But I can't hear when two or more people are talking.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, I've been watching the. Can you hear it okay now?
If he flips Nevada, obviously that takes him.
Okay.
You know, my prediction minus New Hampshire. Just going to put that out there. So that's that is a good number.
Am I wrong in thinking that if he now takes Michigan and Wisconsin, he doesn't need Pennsylvania?
Yeah, if he takes any one of them.
If he takes Wisconsin.
If he takes Wisconsin, it's over. If he takes Michigan, it's over. If he takes Pennsylvania, it's over. It's over. Okay, like so it's cooked. It's done. He's the 47th president of the United States. I have not been given the authority by the polling gods to declare victory in the election.
I have Mayflower.
He's the 47th president of the United States.
There will be no calling it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. I'm informal. It's an informal call.
Yeah.
It is a description of reality. The reality, and let it sink in, just like Elon Musk says. Let it sink in.
I think
I'm
there's going to be a little bit of partying.
I'm taking the wrapper
right now, just to do that.
Some preparatory.
A little preparatory work here.
You could sniff it. You could smell.
I'm going all the way to cutting it.
Oh wow.
Decision just says 91% is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, it's actually
Can you hear me,
and
Jim?
New York Times has like 93% in, and his lead is indeed holding.
Can you hear me?
By the way,
yeah, I can hear you, but I can't hear you if you're talking. And all I hear is noise. If
so, is it better now?
Yeah, if you block off.
So this
Shapiro's
on the
name.
right over here. This is CNN.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that Kornacki. They're calling it the Kornacki cam, and he's just going through trying to figure out how in the hell is this going to happen and not happen. And over here is Daily Wire, and they have had a stellar coverage. It's been outstanding. Hey, Gemini, thank you. I'm glad you can hear us. So, yeah, we just wanted to come on for a little bit here and do the geezer gloat because we called this and we are watching it unfold, and it's rare that you get to make a prediction and then have the evidence to support it pop
The
in.
world, yeah.
And this is bigger than just the U.S. This is that ripple that's going to resonate around the planet.
They're predicting Trump will get 51% in both Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania. I wonder if Kumquat likes Crow.
I don't know, but hey, G.
Hey, can you hear me?
What happened to Illinois? You guys got stuck out there in the middle of surrounded in this Red Sea. What the fuck?
Well, there keeps being talk of people cutting off Chicago, making that its own little voting area, and the rest of the state, which is red, to be its own.
Yeah, I remember, well, that there's, I think on this, in this election, one of the ballot measures in Oregon is for the western part to secede and join Idaho.
Yeah, they've always tried to separate, people try to separate from California they're trying all kinds of ways to get away from that, but never passes or goes through. And people's brought it up here in Illinois to ditch Chicago and become our own state without them. But you know.
Well, we got a few finding us out there on the interweb. Gemini. Thank you for that. Woo's in the house. ABC just said Kamala Kumquat is going to lose.
Yeah.
She would need a miracle. Marie's in the house.
I don't think she has a path anymore.
Well, it's only 37% in Illinois, and they're not that far apart.
Alaska will probably get 3 from Alaska, and then any other state on the blue wall or PA will put Trump at 270 or over.
Well, guys, we are real time right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. It might be my herbal accoutrements participating in the sense of wonderment and joy that I'm currently experiencing, but this is a moment we all share together.
Yeah.
Because we called exactly what we're seeing going on right now, and we did it before this happened. So we cast the geezer gaze, we made a prediction on the goo. And how about you guys?
I'm excited. I mean, I'm glad that we'll have the presidency, the White House, and plus hopefully we'll keep control of
we'll have both houses,
the Senate and the House, and that will allow Kennedy and Elon to be able to pass stuff, get stuff run through, and get things done.
I mean, what is it about the fact that we're actually seeing the shit that we just talked about and said was probably going to happen? And maybe I don't know, guys. I could be just kind of marinating in this a little bit, kind of meandering in the marvelousness of, was it? So the question is this: was our call based on it? Just it was so obvious it was going to happen that we weren't predicting anything out, getting any psychic read. We were just looking at the data.
Right.
We were just looking at the trends, looking at the energy. Was it more that, or did we get a little knock on the noggin from
a little bit of weed helps, but no, it's based on our observations, and shit, I've been around almost 80 trips around the sun. You're getting up there. Gee, you're getting up there too. So it's the millennials and the one after them that don't have a clue. I think the Gen Zs are the ones that are becoming conservative. That's what everybody was saying.
It seems as though there's some kind of let's see. Hold on a second.
Who's that?
Oh, there's
That's the co-chair. That was a while ago for Harris.
Let's see what he's saying here.
So they're all going home.
I think everybody's bailing out.
Okay. Well, you can view it.
The facial expressions alone.
Yeah, the facial expressions are worthwhile.
I am getting flashbacks to 2016. You remember at the Javits Center, Hillary had her big election party. And my favorite line from poor Mr. Podesta, he comes out, he's the head of her campaign, and he says, "Hey, thank you all so much for showing up for Hillary. She's always shown up for you." Except right now.
Very moment.
We're also watching people walk into the party down in West Palm Beach at Trump HQ. We just saw our friend and actor John Boyd walk through the room. I think we saw Tucker Carlson walk into the room. So definitely the contingent that was at Mar-a-Lago are all starting to make their way to the convention center in anticipation of Donald Trump making some sort of appearance here which seems to be more or less imminent. And as that happens, you're just also watching the electoral vote totals creep up. Right now, Decision Desk HQ has Donald Trump at 200 and I'm getting a little blind. This is at 251 electoral votes.
Yes.
To Kamala Harris is 213. It's getting very hard to imagine how Kamala could turn this.
Well, meanwhile, that needle, that magical needle that we've all enjoyed so much, is over 95% chance of victory right now. Their electoral college estimate puts Donald Trump at 306 electoral votes. Nate Cohn says another hour has gone by. The story is still the same. Trump favored in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. This election is, well, I mean, they're treating it like it's done.
Wow,
okay,
I
so
love the New York Times. I take back everything bad I ever said about them.
It is
deep
quite,
honesty.
It is quite enjoyable for certain. That is for certain. And do we have Brent Buchanan available? Is that a thing that I was told that was a thing that we were going to do?
Yes.
Are we right
okay,
now?
So Brent, hold on. Wait, let's do this properly. So, Brent, give me the M&Ms. I promised an M&M joke. Thank you. I'm going to need that. So, all right, Brent. Brent, I have a different candy now. Okay. And I warned you. You're forewarned. I need an update from Pennsylvania as I glory in this treat.
Huh. Okay, so really, Mars Wrigley has failed us. M&Ms are made in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Done.
It's performing exactly like it did last time. They did not show up for Trump any more than in 2020.
Okay, hold on. That was not a good. Can I try it, Ben? Can you do it? Can you pitch me on the M&M thing?
Okay, so Michael Knowles, I'm eating M&Ms right now, and they're delicious. Please give me the Pennsylvania data that is linked in some way to this.
Oh, sure. She's choking. How? Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Blow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. McCormick's going to win. That's basically my
Michael, that was truly almost worth the price of having paid you for 10 years. Absolutely not. Brent, I'm going to go back to you since you have data. So what's the story in Pennsylvania? Why are we waiting to declare it? How long do we have to stay up with this? Yeah. What's the story?
I have no clue why we're waiting. Right now, Philly, the county is at 86% in. It's underperforming by 6 points.
Oh,
wow. And a flat turnout. So this goes back to what we've been talking about. Democrat counties are turning out at 2020 levels. Republican counties are turning out above 2020 levels. Here's one for you. A lot of this goes back to the fact, and we've been highlighting this, the youth vote is shrinking in the margin for Democrats. In our last national poll, we had Harris only winning the under 30 vote by 8 points. If we'd have broken that down even younger, I guarantee Trump would have been in the lead if you went, say, 18 to 22. So Center County, Pennsylvania, which is the home of Pennsylvania State University, Biden won it by 4 in 2020. Trump is currently up by 4.
Oof.
So I have absolutely no clue why we're all sitting here. I mean, it's fun. I get it. It's really fun. Really thank all these smart people. And then they also invited me. We can definitely win back the college-educated vote with what you all have talked about tonight. But Pennsylvania, absolutely no clue why they have not called it.
Okay, in Michigan, the numbers are looking stunningly good for President Trump early. Now, it's a lot earlier in Michigan. They've only counted something like, I don't know, 67%, about 2/3 of the vote. But Trump's up like 6% in that vote right now. I assume it's going to come down. I assume it'll be a little bit closer. But what that does mean is that Mike Rogers, who's widely expected to be trailing that Senate race, is running really strong against Alyssa Slotkin right now. And if you had to put money on it, you say Republicans maybe get 55 Senate seats out of this thing.
They could potentially. And it's one of the really interesting stories of this cycle where for pretty much all the Senate races, the Republican Senate candidate was polling 4, 5, 6, 7 points behind Donald Trump in the margin. And it really looks like as people went to go vote, they looked at the blue and the red jersey and said, I have to pick one. And I'm going to pick the red jersey across the board, especially in these Rust Belt states. So Dave Sunday, the Republican nominee for Attorney General in Pennsylvania, declared the winner there. I think that is a harbinger of what we're going to see also coming out of Pennsylvania. But if you look specifically at Michigan, so there's a county, Oakland County outside of Detroit, suburban area. Biden won it by 14. It is almost fully reported, and currently Harris is only up by 10.
Bent over.
So not only are these
I was watching for a while. I got rid of him because his results are way behind everybody else.
Biden was getting. Right. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the union vote and how she was definitely going to underperform.
Why don't you mute that guy for a minute so we can talk?
Another county.
So,
Trump is leading in PA larger than the number of errors for the poll. So even if they slip a little bit, he's still way ahead as far as what the poll error margin is.
That's good.
Well, that's to our point about it would be too obvious to obfuscate. I mean, and one of the things I think is actually going to happen. Hey, Clay's in the house.
Where the hell's he at?
He was in chat.
Oh.
You need to jump in, click the link there, Clay. What was I going to say? We said it would be, that's one of the other themes you've heard people talk about is too big to rig, or
right, too big to rig.
It'll beat the cheat and all of that, and I've been calling it just too obvious to obfuscate.
I think
so that's what these guys. Let's listen real quick to what ABC is saying here.
And he saw virtually everything through the prism of what would help him win re-election. And now you see a Donald Trump and the minute he gets in, I mean, he said we have a constitution that says he can't run again. He will not be running for re-election. Astounding how that affects.
Just a reminder, he's been running for well more than a year, and Kamala Harris has been running for 107 days.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary election we've all lived this year together. I know you're still drilling down on the Pennsylvania numbers to see if the map is even possible, or how narrow the path is for Kamala Harris. Does it exist still?
Oh, look, anything's possible. It's just really hard to see how you have to squint to see the path at this point. I think we've been looking at these bubbles. They've been shrinking as the night goes on because that's less and less vote, but we haven't gotten a lot of vote out of Philadelphia, 177,000 votes. But even if every single one of those votes was for Kamala Harris, she'd still be trailing Donald Trump. Similar, if you look around to the outstanding vote in Chester County, 62,000, 65,000 in Montgomery, Bucks County. A lot of these are split counties anyway. So it's very hard to see how she makes up that kind of ground. 500-something thousand votes would have to be made up across those three states. And there's something that's really interesting to key into in Pennsylvania. There are two counties on opposite sides of the state, and a lot of different demographics.
Erie County, here we go.
Erie
right?
County, and I'll talk to you a little about Erie County first. Look at the numbers there. Hillary Clinton, 47.
Trying to pick counties and pick little parts and figure out any kind of trends and do pattern recognition to try to see how can you possibly salvage this complete disaster.
There's no path for her to win now. Trump not only got the unions and the police and the black vote and the Puerto Rican vote and Asian vote came in real heavy for him in all these areas.
You get the Muslim vote in Michigan.
JP, can you hear?
Got you 5 by 5.
Sweet. Gentlemen, this is my friend Jason Patrick. He's one of the regulars on another show that a friend of ours does. And so, JP, this is Gerald out in Kami, Illinois. Jim Goodall down in somewhere in Arizona, down in the weeds.
In the oven of
Hold on, wait, Professor. Did you say that she was in the People's Democratic Republic of Chicago?
Yeah, Gerald is. Yeah, he's
now. Now to be clear, it's only one section of Illinois that's communist territory. The rest of us is all
I
red.
live there too.
It's just too easy to have fun with.
Well, I'm glad you were able to jump on, because we are, as the title of the stream says, we are gloating because we called on Saturday night's show, and actually have been calling it for a couple of months, exactly what we're seeing tonight.
Well, I'll be
hey,
completely
we
honest.
Got to gloat.
I'll be completely honest. I'm slightly terrified to go to bed because I don't want to wake up the next morning and find that suddenly it switched from where it's at. It's probably a horrible thing to joke about, but
I think that's in the back of everybody's head about right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everybody. It doesn't matter what side of the issue you're on. It's, what are we going to wake up to?
I mean, honestly, the only thing that I thought of a little while ago is when Kamala's co-chair told everybody she's not going to be speaking tonight, probably because she's not in any shape to speak. She's probably been drinking all day, and the teleprompter's probably not working right. So,
and one of her news conferences, she's going like this. She's going, the only people I knew that do that on a regular basis is somebody who snorts cocaine, and there's rumors running abound that the cocaine they found in the White House was kumquats.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
She looks like she's blasted half the time, or drunk. Or just totally wasted on whatever she's drinking.
Well, there's clearly something. It's clearly something biochemical going on. You don't have to be a psychologist or a medical doctor to understand and see the obvious trends and the characteristics, and you can just go, well, whatever it is, it's unknown, and it apparently is kind of chronic. We need to understand what that is. But even before that, before you look at the psychological characteristics and the just abject idiocy that is going on, do you guys tell me honestly? Then, Jason, I'll start with you. Do you see?
No shit.
Do you see? And this is not the Ethereum and the Materium, and this is all, but it is a part of the Great Reveal. Okay. Do you see? Do you see? Because we made a prediction. We're watching it, go down in real time, and that's why we're glad.
Right.
But do you see when you look at Harris? Do you see a carbon-based unit that has anything of original substance and original character to it?
Well, yes and no. I think there's a lot of prepping and practicing and coaching and they say this, don't say this kind of stuff. I think there is something there. It's not much.
Well, we typically when
I think she's way I think she's way in over her head with a lot of things. I think there's a lot of stuff that's, catchy rhetoric and things like that because I don't think there is a plan. I don't think there is an understanding of stuff. And that kind of leads into thoughts I've had for a while about how the people who are voting for her, a lot of it ends up coming down to single issue kind of stuff, right?
Go kill
or it's party line kind of stuff.
Jason, hold on 1 second. Looks like they're live at the Trump. Well, they're just going through numbers. So go ahead. What you were saying.
Yeah, but they're single issue voters. They are they're party line voters, and they're people who don't have the ability to look out at second and third order effects and a bigger world picture. Whatever anybody may think about Trump, excuse me, whatever anybody may think about Trump as a person, what he says, things like that, how he may act or respond to people, mean tweets. The fact of the matter is that a lot of these people don't understand that who walks into that White House after Inauguration Day is going to have huge impact on a global scale. And the person that needs to go into that seat needs to be strong enough to actually hold adversaries' feet to the fire on agreements, treaties, in any kind of dealings. Has to be willing to have a firm hand.
So what you're saying
and Harris Waltz doesn't.
So what you're saying is holding on to the ankles is not as good as holding on to the feet.
Jesus.
I'm just trying to. I'm looking for clarification.
Yeah, no. From my standpoint with all of this stuff, it's very much one of you guys are worried about reproductive rights, and you're worried about using terms, gender pronouns and stuff like that. I'm worried about whether or not whoever goes into that office is going to make it so that all of a sudden, in a very negative way, none of those things matter anymore. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Oh yeah. And I think we've got another one of our regular geezers joining us. Looks like Clay's trying to poke his way through the digital morass.
Right side broadcasting network has Trump at 270 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's confirmed or that's just them predicting.
I mean, Pennsylvania really hinges it.
And they're going to piss and moan no matter what.
And that's the thing is that my hope is that at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, it's like, look, it's said and done. We're where we're at. Move forward. Stop with the who can we throw in jail. Stop with the try to get whoever it beats.
Hold on 1 second. Joy Reid is dropping some nuggets.
Wow. Oh, man. One, Kamala L. Harris. I don't know her middle name is. She gets to preside over the certification of Donald J. Trump's electoral
Do you
vote.
think they'll refuse to certify in the name of democracy?
Oh, I certainly they won't. But it would be great if they did.
They would if it had been 270 to 268.
Yeah.
But that is not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No. He's going to win 300 electoral votes, and they're not going to
more.
They're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Except weep on TV.
The American people, unstoppable, man. Unstoppable. So good. So good. Wow. And like Fox being first to call Pennsylvania, right after last time around when they got banged on.
They learned their lesson.
Arizona. By the way, well, I mean, by the way, they called Arizona right last time. Okay, so like
they called it right, but they called it too early.
Here you go.
Understood, and they called it right this time. Okay.
Wow, that's right.
And so there we are, man. Wow. Yeah, as Matt's idea.
Does anybody have a percentage?
Machines are definitely going to work.
Pennsylvania.
Has been visited upon us. Man, she failed upward, and she never ever had to be elected to it, ever.
Yeah,
ever. Right. You want to talk about the utter failure? The utter failure of DEI.
Mm-hmm.
The utter failure of DEI. She failed upward at every opportunity without any vote, and then finally she's subjected to reality, and reality said, "Hell no."
When even Anna Kasparian is saying, "Yeah, what we did is crap."
Yeah.
Like it was offensive what they did.
Yep.
It's offensive to people on their own side.
It was. Yes.
If you're on their side and you're rational at all,
right.
You were offended by this and you didn't want to support it.
The other thing, I know a lot of people were praying before this election. I certainly was.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a good time to thank God because truly, I mean, the most notable moment, but even this, we just forget as humans. The guy turned his head 20 degrees and his head wasn't blown off. Okay, at an improbable moment. And so, there are moments in history. The Battle of Lepanto is a good example. But there are many moments in history where you think, had the wind just blown a little bit differently, we wouldn't have civilization anymore. It's really that dramatic. And we may have just experienced one of those moments for our country.
And watched it on TV. I mean, the records that we have from this whole adventure, including those, I mean, we've never lived through an election where we had these kinds of precise measurements. You could actually simulate the turn of his head.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we've got digital records of the hand of God.
That's exactly right.
Down.
Guys, I mean, I think that's right. And so, I think that a silent moment of prayer actually would be quite appropriate at this point. So if you want to take like 10 seconds here and just say thank you to God, because seriously, well played, God. Really well played.
Yeah.
My dog was in need of treatsies, so he's spoiled rotten.
Clay's trying to get in.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
All righty.
Can you hear us,
thank
Clay?
you, God. That was it.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Yeah.
you.
I got
Can't
my
see you, though.
microphone to work. Yeah, my camera's not working. It's saying it's being used by something else. I don't understand it.
Oh, it's probably that OnlyFans channel that you just got off the work of.
Wow.
Is that when you have diamond membership too, Robert?
Well, no, I have a founder's membership.
It won't.
excuse
I
me.
don't. Something's just. It's
Hey,
with
look,
Riverside.
whatever you guys are doing
Clay,
on
why don't you-
OnlyFans, let me just tell you right here and now, don't get involved with any sort of animal rescue or sanctuary kind of stuff, and
Especially
have
if
no
you have
squirrels and raccoons living in the
Yes.
house. Yeah.
Clay, why don't you
That's-
go out and come back in and try that? We've seen that issue before. Give that a shot.
JP,
But,
how long? JP, how long have you known this character named Robert?
Jeez. Prof, how far do we go back at this point with Scotty's show?
No, at least 2-3 years, I think, at least. Something like that.
Probably at least. Yeah.
Well, no wonder you don't
We
come on.
we
with
have
us
a lot
very
of fun
often.
poking at each other on Scotty's show.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
we have fun. We have
JP
fun.
and I get into our friend Scotty Roberts' show. Who is, I don't know if it's generous or foolish enough to allow us to come on and hijack the ass end of his show, and we get on there and.
I like to think that it's the generous part.
You think that's what it is?
Well, he puts up with both of us, so he's got to be a generous guy.
That's right, and,
So-
and there are no prisoners left because there are no prisoners taken. We just kind of let it go. But guys,
what
I mean,
I always wonder is what do people think when you and I are going back and forth, with little jabs at one another? They're sitting there like, "Oh my God, why are these guys? We're just having fun."
Yeah, they're going. Wait a minute, there's
We're all laughing here.
Something breaking out. We don't understand it.
Yeah.
So guys, I mean, we are watching history right now, real
Yeah.
time, live, being
This is-
sent
when-
from around the world.
Dave McCormick won in
This is-
Pennsylvania.
How many states does Trump have at this point?
I think 44.
44 states.
I think. Let's see if
That-
we're with
That would mean what the last time there was something like this would have been Reagan Mondale.
Yeah, and the only reason he didn't get all 50, even though Mondale, when you met him, face to face and having a conversation, he was a very delightful person. But when he had a microphone in front of him, and the only reason I know it, my first wife's uncle was Hubert Humphrey's best friend and a kingmaker
wow.
in the Midwest, and it was Les Nelson.
Okay.
He was president of the Board of Regents at the University of Minnesota. And when I told him I was going to go back to school, and he said, of all the people I've met in my life, someone who doesn't need a degree, he said, Jim, it's you. Don't waste your money. So every job I've ever had, my last job, I needed a PhD, and I got it anyway. So,
Right.
Just because, I mean, like I love Elon. He said, today, college degree is primarily especially in the newer generation, not my parents' generation or even my generation. They've been indoctrinated. They don't know how to think.
Well, Well, there's also that. Do you are you familiar with? And I've brought this up a million times with Scotty and Professor here, but are you familiar with Yuri Bezmenov?
No, I can't say I am.
So Yuri Bezmenov was a KGB guy, and I think he did some field ops. He ended up at some point, I think in the 70s, defecting and making his way to the United States, and then ultimately, I think, settled in Canada. But I think it was in 80 or 81, there was an interview that he did on, I believe it was a Canadian program, where he basically laid out the entire game plan for, the KGB's efforts to undermine the United States and Western democracy. And part of that was the indoctrination of educators, especially people in the more, growing liberal movements within, places like Berkeley, stuff like that. Yeah. Where you get a lot of these professors who had more socialist leanings, and bringing to the Soviet Union and, or Soviet, allied places and giving them, oh, hey, tour this here a while. We're just going to teach you about our culture and the way we do things, and, no pressure, nothing, kind of the old timeshare pitch, and then these guys would come back to the States and they would, teach students, and they would, be involved with the movements and things like that. And so it's like you started perpetuating the next generation of people who would teach the ideology.
That whole model, Mao, that's how he transformed the Chinese culture into the Communist political party. And
there was a little bit more of a violent edge to Mao's efforts.
Well, yeah, that was because they had a hard time selling their shit. They hadn't made people comply by beating on them. But my point is that kind of mental control, of hurting the minds of the many, that kind of shit's been around for a long time. It looks like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's check in real quick, because it looks like we might hear from Trump. Let's see what's going on.
This was the only election where Democrats would be able to make this a national live issue. Really, because what's going to happen is that stasis is going to set in. All the states are going to pursue their various different, exactly what Trump says, because that's how Roe versus Wade, did it wrong, and that's what Dobbs does.
Go to Fox News. They have it.
Donald Trump said it's going to stick back to the states. The states are going to do what they're going to do. And if you want to vote in your state legislature for a bunch of pro-abortion people, that's your prerogative in the United States of America. But that is not going to be the lever upon which you can get a Democrat president elected. You're right, Matt. They didn't love abortion enough to overcome the fact of 40-year highs in inflation, a terrible candidate, transing of the children, a wide open border, a horrible foreign policy. The world is a much better place today because Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States, a much better place in every way it is possible to measure that question.
This is true. This is a repudiation of the whole leftist project, whether it's abortion, feminism, the race issue, DEI. I mean,
especially DEI. Good timing for your movie, by the way.
What did I say in the chat? We're watching the Great Repudiation.
Yep.
Owns Bromix, Kendi, and the entire 1619 Project crew. I know this is a little bit in the rearview mirror now, but fundamentally, the groundwork for
Sam
all.
Brown in Nevada is closing in on Jackie Rosen. We're talking about historic numbers here. If all of these dominoes fall,
so that's
you're talking
Brett
about
Baer
a Senate
covering
that could be 54-46, 55-45. That wasn't in the cards. That wasn't on anybody's bingo card when you came into election night.
But these candidates have all fought really strong races, and they have all closed in a very strong way. And in fact, many of them were sort of pulling into, +5, +6 in just over the last 3 weeks. So it's a fascinating part of the story. Hopefully we'll be able to
former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says with these coattails, you could see the House going Republican as well, and that would be a part of this story as well. Let's go back out to Trace Gallagher on the West Coast with his panel. Hey, Trace.
Brett, thank you. Martha, thank you as well. We've got our panel, Steve Hilton, Jody Arm.
Get a little echo going on there. So let's talk about what it appears to be going down here.
Well, they all
talking
left, Mar-Margo to go to the convention here.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we're actually seeing here. Just look at the data, do the old observational neutrality of what are the nuts in these nuggets. And if this is the first one, not only, Trump winning clearly and decisively, or as we said, too obvious to obfuscate, and it happening before the polls close. And it was clear, even though he didn't have his 270 before they closed, he racked that up real quick.
And the Pentagon, we forgot to send overseas ballots to all
they're
our
gonna,
men and women in uniform.
I don't think that regardless of whatever shenanigans are pulled, that they'll A, be good enough, and B, one of the things that's a characteristic of the folks that go over there laying out the plans and executing.
Hold on, wait.
What?
Pause X there, Prof. What was that about the Pentagon saying they forgot to send overseas ballots?
Yeah, the overseas ballots were not sent to our men and women in uniform overseas.
Okay, where did you hear that?
On the news, on the Crap News Network, and even on some of the posts I read. I mean, it was commented and it said, "Oh shit, we fucked up." Why is it? I mean, they got caught. That wasn't on purpose. That wasn't an on shit.
So
that wasn't an on purpose.
That's bothersome to me. I work for the Air Force, and I'm a 10-year Army veteran. So
I'm a 27-year Master Sergeant. So.
Okay, so yeah,
in fact,
something
Jason, just as a side note, I've mentioned to you about Jim Goodall. He's our ancient aviation historian, and
okay,
I have the honor and privilege of having one of his latest books, which is 75 Years of Skunk Works. So I think you would enjoy a conversation coming on the geezers when we get into some of that shit later on. But anyway, go ahead.
A real quickie. I'm the only NCO in the United States Armed Services that was capable of scrounging a CIA version of the Blackbird called the A-12.
Right, Oxcart.
I raised the money to pay for the guys going to Palmdale to take it apart. And I scrounged two C-5s from the New York Air Guard to airlift the fuselage in one and the engine nacelles and outer wing panels in the other. Because I'm at the time I was an E6. I was with the Minnesota Air Guard. I had 5 years active, a 10-year break, and 21 years with the Minnesota Air Guard as a historian. And they're seniors.
That's what I do now, actually.
Okay, and I scrounged two New York Air Guard C-5s. I called right after Ben Rich called me at home in August of '89, said Blackbirds aren't going to make it through Congress. If anybody could scrounge one, it's you. And I immediately went over the base, got on the DSN. I called the Adjutant General of the State of New York, General Weaver, and Secretary answered. And I said, "Yes, ma'am, this is Sergeant Goodall with the 133rd. Is General Weaver available?" "Just a minute, Sarge, I'll put you through." And General Weaver gets on and he said, "Sarge, how can I help you?" And I said, "General, I have a proposition. How would the New York Air Guard like to move the world's fastest airplane in a couple of your C-5s?" Dead silence for about 10 seconds. And he said, "You mean the Blackbird?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, when you're ready, you call, we'll haul. Arnie
Nice.
Gunderson, Pratt and Whitney wanted to get a Blackbird for West Palm Beach. It was one of the non-flyables.
Yeah.
So he asked, he contacted the Air Force to find out what it would cost him, Pratt and Whitney, to lease a C-5. Would they do it, first of all? And they said yes, since you're a defense contractor. How much? I think it was $967,000 a day plus gas.
Yeah.
And I scrounged two of them on the 8th production A-12 Blackbird, number 128. I'm the world's foremost authority on the Lockheed family of Blackbirds.
That's cool. So, so you said 133rd Minnesota Air National Guard. Is that the Happy Hooligans?
No, that's North Dakota. Yeah, we're the airlift wing. We're C-130s.
Hey, just real quick.
All right. I was the
Trump at 277.
Who does G?
Fox Election Center.
We got Fox on here, but this is okay. Let's see.
So we can all go to bed now. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're still waiting for Trump.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We got to see him come out and claim this. I mean, come on. So
exactly.
Anyway, you guys squirreled off on a couple of nuggets that had nothing to do with what I was asking. So I'm going to try to bring them all back.
Hang on. Hold on. I just had one last thing to say.
All right.
I had one last thing to say.
Get it out.
So, no, the reason why I asked about that is I used to be the wing historian for the 319th Reconnaissance Wing, which used to be 319th Air Base Wing. Before that, Bomb Wing, up there in Grand Forks.
I was the wing historian for the for the 133rd Airlift Wing, and then I was on state staff for a couple of years. I
now work at the Cyberspace Capability Center at Scott as a historian. So.
Okay, you two can get a hangar later, okay?
Yeah. But I'm the only NCO ever to scrounge a Blackbird of 2 C-5s to move it.
You know what? I'm gonna have to message my contact, my functional area manager and whatnot up at ACC and be like, hey, have you ever heard the story of?
I've been talking about it forever. I mean, it was just, and they said it's for training. It's for training of loading outsized cargo.
Right. Yep.
Because we had 1.5 inches of clearance. We had 1.5 inches of clearance on the floor rails on the C-5.
Oh Lord, yeah. Wow.
The airplane was the wing. We cut the wings off at Wing Station 119, and it was at the time for an operational airplane, not a Beluga or the Starlift or 747 big saucer looking thing.
Right.
For an operational airplane, it was the largest load to be carried internally on an operational aircraft. And it was 19 feet wide, 103 feet long, and 11 feet tall. And that was all my baby. I had a full bird kernel when we were taking it apart at what is now the Skunk Works there at Air Force Plant 42. We had all this arranged. I was at the museum, and phone rings, and I pick it up and said, Sergeant Goodall. I said, well, this is Colonel so-and-so from Secretary of the Air Force Office of Public Affairs. I said, what can I do for you, Colonel? And he said, I need to speak to the officer that's in charge of the Blackbird recovery. I said, you speaking to him? No, you're the sergeant. I need to talk to the person. I said, well, first of all, I'm a vice president of a company Monday through Friday, and on weekends, I'm a tech sergeant. So, but this is my baby. How can I help you, Colonel? He's sort of hemming and hawing. He doesn't want to ask me a favor. He said, well, how do I get get on the facility to do the shooting since this is your baby. I said, tell you what, all you have to do is here's the number. You call Glenna Farley. She's head of security there at Palmdale at the Lockheed facility, and tell them that Sergeant Goodall gave you the okay to come on board with your staff to cover the loading into the C5. And I mean, you could just he was active duty. If it'd been a guardsman, it would be okay. I mean, I called Wayne Gatlin was my boss. Well, he was also Major General Wayne Gatlin. I just loved him. That's why I joined the Guard, because of him. But so we're going out on the flight line. It's a non-salute, hats off area. I see the bird colonel. I go up and say, "Sir, are you Colonel so-and-so?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm Sergeant Goodall." He says, "Welcome to Plant 10 and the loading of the A-12 ox cart."
I'm going to refill. Keep going.
Yeah. It'll be loading later on this afternoon. And
wow.
And we took off. This was on the 27th of October of '91.
Okay.
And we couldn't get gas at Palmdale, so we just flew to Travis. Spent the night. We were over in we were in Marin County somewhere was where we were staying, and then the next morning we flew out, and we're about 40 minutes out from Travis, and the Chief Master Sergeant Loadmaster's going downstairs to the cargo area. I say, "Hey, can I go with you?" And he said, "Well, normally the answer would be no, but since this is your baby, I can't refuse you." So sure. So what I did, I had a wheel chock in the canopy because the counterbalance was out of nitrogen, and I climbed up in the landing gear, walked along the chines. I know where to step. Got into the cockpit. I had a 5-gallon bucket in there with a cushion because I've been playing with it on the ground. And I closed the canopy, and I'm in there for about 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the chief raps on the bottom. I said, "Okay," so I reverse everything, leave, go back up. And as we're starting our descent into Minneapolis, the chief came back and said, "The boss said you can be in the cockpit when we land." And I said, "I'm already in the front end of the C5. He said, no, downstairs." So I went down, got into the cockpit of the A-12, and I landed it inside a C5. So the next day I called Ben Rich. I said, "Ben," I said, "I think I have a Blackbird record that no one will ever be able to touch." And he said, "What's that?" They said, "I'm the only person in the world to been in the cockpit of a Blackbird at 33,000 feet at Mach 0.72 inside another airplane, and I landed it too." He just started laughing. He said, "I'm laughing so hard I almost wet my pants." I said, "I should issue you a Mach 3 minus card." But Ben Rich, the vice president at the time, the president and general manager of the Skunk Works, we talked about once a quarter for over 20 years.
Oh, wow. So that would have been would that been the guy after Kelly Johnson?
Yeah. He's the only person who could step in Kelly's shoes.
Yeah. I read the book Skunk Works years ago, and it just always amazed me, all the stuff that Kelly Johnson just drove.
You should go to Amazon and type in books by James C. Goodall.
Okay.
I have 29 books in print.
Okay.
But my last
only
my last 6 have all been hardbound and pictorial histories.
Okay.
And I just I'm trying to finish up one now that I've had for about. I've been waiting to get on an SSGN, one of the Arsenal boat, and one of the Ohio converted boats.
Okay.
Because I've written 5 books now on submarines, and friends of mine said, "What are you going to do about a submarine?" He says, that doesn't meet any of your criteria. I said, "Oh, but it does. They're black, they're stealth, and they're deadly."
Right.
And you can't see them when they're at work.
It checks all the boxes.
And the general public can only see the top, maybe 4 feet of the hull, and the sail. And in a Ohio boat, you can see the rudder, and that's it. I take him in. I take him inside. I shoot everything from the reactor room forward.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Books. So I've covered a C4 boat, a D5 boat, and I'm waiting to get on an Arsenal boat. And I have a 3-star admiral has assigned a lieutenant commander to make sure that Mr. Goodall photo requests are satisfied. I've been waiting almost 10 years. I've been waiting almost 10 years to get on an SSGN.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Do you see the picture?
That's my book.
That's the book.
5.5 pounds.
I see no picture. And unless you sent me something in the message.
No, it's in my video of me.
All I see is the screens for the TV and everything.
See our individual.
No, that's all disappeared. Yeah.
Well, here, I can go back to that.
Oh, there we go.
That's my.
Okay.
It weighs 5.5 pounds. I covered 43 Skunk Works programs from the very first, which is the P-80, all the way up to who knows what.
You don't consider the P-38 as the first?
No, because that wasn't designed by Kelly Johnson. That was actually a Douglas airplane that he helped wring some of the problems out of it. And then during the war, I think they were contracted to build the P-38s.
That Lockheed was contracted? I thought Lockheed developed the Lightning internal.
From what I understand, it was a Douglas design. And I don't know if Douglas was building was more important, more focused on bombers, and the P-38 may or may not fly.
Yeah, well, because they were Douglas had the A-20 Havoc, and then they were working on the A-26 Invader.
Yeah, and they also had the Douglas Sky Raider, I think, was at the end of the war, or at least the end.
Yeah.
And of course they're building C-47s and C-54s and.
Yep.
Well, listen, again, you guys can get a hangar or a port or something later.
Oh, yeah, you have to invite me to one of your gab sessions.
I can sit and talk stroke airplanes. Each other's cylinder tube. I mean, come on.
Oh, and as a final note, in April I'm being inducted into the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
And along with Charles Lindbergh.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my adjutant general submitted my name, and I had 10 people write letters for him about me, and they were all generals.
Well, yeah, I was going to say none of them were any of his friends, people that we get and talk to. We don't write letters for him like that. No. He had to go pay some people with metal on their shirts.
Oh, damn.
See, there's no prisoners, no mercy.
No mercy in this dojo.
We kick names and take ass. So I don't know what happened to G. He's kind of disappeared, gone off somewhere.
I think I bored him to death. Oh,
No,
there he is.
I've just
He's
been
back.
searching it. I've just been searching for more results. While you,
That is a bright shirt, sir.
it is.
That is like high vis safety flannel. you
Well,
you
see,
are
he
a
doesn't want- he
firmer
doesn't
man
want-
than I applaud you.
He doesn't want to shoot the deer. He wants to scare the hell out of him as he jumps out of the tree, you know.
So,
That's
so
awesome.
it looks like Trump is probably about to get up and do his thing.
Okay.
I definitely want to enjoy that with you guys.
Yeah.
But before that, let's see how much of what we can get in before he gets up and starts talking about what's going to happen in the next 60 days. Now that I think the thing that's really important, and this is what we talked about on the geezers, and we've been prognosticating on for the entire summer, that this would be, like I said in the chat, we've just now seen the great repudiation, in my opinion.
You said the next 60 days? I have to wear this that long?
Yeah, now that the election has been decided.
God. I don't even want to think about the next 60 days. I'm worried about the idiots.
Well, the idiots are a part of the next 60 days.
Well, they definitely are. I tell you, though, there's been several days where I've sat there thinking about all this stuff, been like, I need to set up a range card and put out sector stakes around my house, because living in St. Louis, being close to Ferguson, all of that stuff, what the hell is going to happen? Like, I went from Grand Forks, North Dakota to St. Louis, Missouri. It's like
It was a downgrade.
night and day. Actually, no, it really wasn't. Cost of living here in St. Louis is 12 to 17% lower than Grand Forks, North Dakota.
That's because it's a 12% lower living standard, right?
No, actually, it's pretty good. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. What it is that apparently, from what I can tell so far, St. Louis isn't actively trying to bring Chi-Com companies to set up massive facilities, factories 12 miles away from our Air Force bases with direct line of sight to sensitive operations, like Grand Forks tried to do.
So, okay, but the cost of living is cheap. You're surrounded by a bunch of stuff that sounds, it's the kind of place where all of the activities and the kinetic energy and all those emotions came together and created buildings and shit and fires and everything else, right? Now, do you think?
I don't remember there being any big rioting back in.
Hold on, let me go there.
Okay.
Do you think? What are the chances now, as of what we are seeing tonight? What are the chances of that happening in the next 60 days?
Riot, you mean?
I think there's a reasonable chance. I mean, if you just
50-50, 70-30.
I'm not confident in giving you a percentage. I just somewhere in some sort of reasonable.
You think it's a possibility, but not a probability.
Democrat.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I'm honestly on the fence. I can't go one way or the other between probable or possible.
Yeah.
It's and my deep down hope is that I'm just over worrying about it, just because of the things that we saw in 20 and everything that went down in Minneapolis. I mean, I was 4 hours away from that up in Grand Forks, right? Like, when all of that was going on, my kids were days out from getting on a plane to fly into MSP and me to drive from Grand Forks to pick them up, because Grand Forks has an airport, but it's exponentially more expensive to fly out of that than it would have been MSP. And so I would drive the 4 hours down to Minneapolis, St. Paul to get them. And I was sitting there watching all of that unfold, knowing that, like, here in the next couple of days, my kids have to fly into that and I have to go pick them up from that. So that's part of the reason why I had that plate carrier that I lifted, that I lifted up on the camera. Two reasons. One, when I was at Grand Forks as a historian, we deployed, and I don't like the Air Force issuing system because I'm used to the Army issuing system. So I was like, screw it, I'll get my own. and then for future deployments. And then also, if I've got to go down through all of that to get my kids, I want to have a fighting chance of being able to make sure my kids are okay. So does that experience and that stuff color my view of what could happen? Yeah, it absolutely does. I hope and pray that I'm just wrong. I'm being overly cautious or overly worried.
Well, the thing that's really important is situational awareness, and having your head on the proverbial swivel is more important now. It's just that's a standard component of the reality we navigate through and we inhabit. But it's not. You don't get the emphasis on that awareness of the importance of situational awareness. It's what I call sus in situ, because that's what you're doing. Okay, I've actually got a T-shirt at mindwareapparel.com. In the thought stream section, you'll find the sus in situ. But that's not taught. There's not enough of that going on. There has been a hell of a lot more of it now because of the amount of data and individuals, the citizen journalists, the citizen scientists, the citizen investigators, the curious citizens. There's all of a sudden, everybody's got data acquisition tools like video and audio, and they've got them wherever they go. And they're overusing them, one could argue, quite effectively. But when they are useful is when you need the data that they collect, because you need to do some forensic analysis of an event. You need to have all the angles, all the data available in order to...
And literally, if you capture everybody's data on their cell phones that were in an area for an event, like...
Exactly. Oh, shit, looks like we've got trouble coming in
now.
now.
Oh, shit, there goes...
Oh, no, he's in his car. It's not going to happen.
I thought another one of you was coming on the screen.
Yeah, no, he's a curse from down under. I mean, he lives in Perth, down under.
Yeah, it's me in person. Me, myself, and I.
How you feeling?
In the flesh.
How you feeling?
Oh, mate, up the shit. I've still got people who COVID, and or as Robert will say, the flu.
It is the flu. It is not.
Hey, well, just on that point, Terry, just so you know, because you caused me to go on that rant and get on your ass about all of that, the show was taken down the next day. It was
I read something about that.
Taken down.
Really?
And the reason was given. They gave a marker in it, and it was like 2.5 hours. We only went for like 2:40 or something, so it was towards the end. And it said something about medical misinformation. I'm going, well, I remember I was trashing T, but that was back in the beginning of the show or the middle of the show. So I went and looked at it, and at that point, there was nothing said about medical. So I said, you know what? You guys are wrong. Did the appeal. 2 hours later, they reversed it. I think the fuckers who, the algorithm and the intern that did the original review and flagged me, got the response from me and realized that I was not somebody they should be fucking with.
Anyway, so listen, how's it going? Hey, let's not talk about COVID because they'll only ban you again. But listen, how's the election going? Trump won? Is it all out?
The world has been saved.
The world's been saved. It looks like a clean sweep across the board, in higher numbers than they even thought was close to reality.
Oh, brilliant. Well, let's hope the next 12 months we get cheaper petrol.
Oh, yeah, there was going to be a whole bunch of change coming down. But the bottom line is it was a repudiation of the bullshit we all been putting up with for the last 4 years, nay, the last 16 years, but in particularly the last 4. And And we said this on the show, and that's why the geezers are gloating tonight. We said we would know by the time the polls
I'm
close.
41. You lump the geezer thing in with you guys, not me. All right.
Yeah. Well,
how'd you even make it on the show then if you're not a geezer?
Yeah, what the fuck?
We were slumming.
I have a lot of old thoughts. If I had been able to vote back in the 80s, I very, very much would have been a Reaganite.
Hey, I got called down on a SAC command post at Elmendorf. That's when they had B-47s. Goldwater was running, and I'm the only guy qualified. Yeah, I'm the only guy qualified to put this console together and check it out. And I didn't know there's a black first sergeant behind me, and my buddy said,
"Oh, we got
if you could vote," because I was only 19 at the time. He said you could vote. Who would you vote for? I said, well, I wouldn't vote for that son of a bitch LBJ, that lying bastard. I'd vote for Goldwater. And all of a sudden, I was up against the wall. He said, I'm gonna have you court-martialed for conduct unbecoming the airman and slandering of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Services. I said,
oh my God.
So I said, be my guest. And he said, how come you're so cooperative? I said, I'm the only one that is qualified to install this thing outside of Vietnam. So yeah, if you want it installed, I know your colonel and the general are counting on it being installed and tested for so they can the B-47s were just getting ready to leave there permanently.
Yeah.
But it was so he sort of hemmed and hawed. He said, well, I don't want to hear any more of that. And I said, okay. I said, that's what my TI told me at basic. Goodall, you have everything going for you but your mouth. So my problem is, most of the time, I just don't give a shit. I really don't.
Right.
And that's why that's why I hang with these guys. I really have no morals or ethics anymore.
You should have considered a career in the Army as a warrant officer. Because
I don't know.
We don't give a shit. We'll tell you what we think. Because that's what I was when I was in the Army.
I always give a shit. I mean, always give shit.
Oh, hey, Prof, I want to tell you, in the interest of friendship and full disclosure, look, that got pulled down. It wasn't the intern. It was my buddy at the NSA, Bill.
Oh,
I called him.
That fucker
I told him to go ahead and just no.
Tell him I got his fucking number.
I messaged him through my Echo Dot in my kitchen.
Tell him my fucking IP tracer is top notch.
So somebody said something about a speaker.
Somebody went
Trump
to the podium. I think they were just adjusting the microphone.
Started yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm thinking that what we're seeing is
we're not seeing anything but you.
No, I'm talking about what we're thinking while this thoughts that we're seeing. Now, I haven't pulled the screen up yet.
There's just 5 ugly mugs on the screen. Yeah, there's nothing about the election, man. I don't know.
Yeah, when they get going, I'll bring it up. So I think what we're seeing is, as I said in the chat, what we're seeing is the great repudiation, because what's happened is an awakening has caused an awareness. And that awareness has resulted in a revealing that has made people rethink the shit that they've been sold and told. And now what we're seeing is the great reimagining. People are starting to realize that the power and the possibilities, let alone the potentials, are starting to line up with the probabilities. And that's in a way that is really never been focused before. I got to tell you, when you start lining up,
it's
when
interesting.
you start lining up the talent and the experience and the minds and the integrity and the character of the people that have coagulated around this guy Trump, who apparently just went in and bulldozed his way across the country and just made it happen. It's like, okay, do you want that kind of energy, or do you want an energy that was offered as an alternative? And what we saw, people en masse said, yeah, we think we'd rather go over here and do this. So that is to all that was chattering for the opposite and proffering all of the polluted bullshit of parasites on the other side, because that's really all it is. It's a bunch of mental fornication and gymnastics to try to even make sense out of all of the dichotomies of the different things. I mean, the whole thing about my body, my choice, protect the women, but we'll go ahead and let the men go in there and compete against us. It's like, wait, okay, there's a disconnect here that I need help understanding. Can you please help me understand so I can understand? Because what you're saying makes no fucking sense to me. And there's been so much of that across the board, across the planet, that I believe what we're seeing here is ground zero for the planetary wave of change that is going to erase all the bullshit and kick off the soaring 20s, what Trump and team are calling the golden age, which I concur with as well, which should have started back in 2020, but it was hijacked and fucked with by the people that are now getting repudiated and replaced. So that, to me, is an encapsulation of what we have seen, what we witnessed, and what we are now seeing unfold before us.
As an outsider,
you
as
like
an
to.
outsider, as an outsider, sorry.
No.
As an outsider looking in, I feel that the eyes over the next 4 years, the eyes are going to be on Trump. Number one, performance, literally performance, and his performance will expose what the Biden shit's been doing over the last 4 years. And if he can give that performance over the next 4 years, hey, you won't have the problem again, because once you put more people in work, bring the industry back, bring back the oil pipeline, shut the borders. And look, you've got to be a bit lenient with some of these migrants that came across, but you get rid of the bad ones, do a proper processing, get the shit out of the way. But I think he will be under scrutiny over the next 4 years. Definitely. Look, that's going to be for sure. But
he's the most he's the most investigative politician in the history of the fucking universe.
Well,
nobody's had more. Nobody's had more colonoscopies
and he
than
runs
Trump.
the country like a business.
And
that's my point. No one's had more colonoscopies than Trump. This guy has had every orifice in every digital and physical, the Ethereum to the materium. Everything on this guy has been poked and checked. And what's sad is that the only reason there is the angst, the anger, the hate, and all of the stuff that people are filtering their experience and information of Trump through, because that's what's happened. There are so many people that believe something so intently that isn't true, and they don't realize that it isn't true.
Oh no! Really?
And there's a whole bunch that are starting to unwind the filter, and they're starting to be able to see that, maybe that really wasn't the Fine People hoax thing is the really stunning, because that's what Biden campaigned on in 2020, and it was debunked then. But it is even, and, I think, and there's still, Bumble's been bringing it up. It's like, why are you pushing something that is clearly a lie? And why?
Don't worry, JP, you'll get a word in eventually.
I know. Eventually, no. And there's a little bit of lag here and there, but it's like I not to be cliche.
You see my
possibly
point? Am I making any sense or what?
Yeah, but I think it's funny, because everything that we've been seeing and dealing with, it can all be summed up by
There he is. He's on stage.
The words of the Crusader himself.
He's on stage.
Oh, he's up. Okay.
Here, let me bring it up here. Hold on.
Yeah. What was it Reagan said in his Goldwater speech in '64? It's not that our well-meaning liberal friends are ignorant. It's just that there's so much that they know that isn't so.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly right.
That Newt's back of his head, and Gingrich.
Where our Republicans often face an uphill battle. And the fact that it looks like it won't be just a squeaker, there might be a little margin there for Republicans.
You guys hear that all right?
Let's see what Wisconsin is, guys. Can we put up hot beat?
This video is way behind. Fox News has them behind the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President-elect Donald J. Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, and the Trump family, accompanied by Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, Second Lady Usha Vance, along with friends and campaign staff.
Dan, look at that toe.
6'9", still growing.
God, I know, right?
The fuck?
It's insane. That boy's eating his Wheaties.
I mean, he is just over all of them, like shoulders and head.
God bless the USA.
With Vince.
What if he became president and we have a 7-foot-tall president?
From the beach in Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
Say what you think of their minds, they sure are an overall good-looking group of people.
And New York to
You know what I mean?
where there's pride in every American heart.
I don't see any
and it's
weirdos
time
in
we
there.
stand and say, that I'm proud to be an American, where it is time to I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died.
Yeah, I think J.D. Vance, hearing everything he's said now on the tube for the news, he couldn't have. He's probably the best vice president candidate in my lifetime. And I'm almost fucking 80. God, I think that close. Yeah.
Where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to
Well, they sure know how to
and
put on a show,
remember
don't they?
still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much.
I'm surprised Scotty didn't do something.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help. and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes, but but it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of that.
Boy, that's a double smack. One cheek, the other cheek.
Thank you.
The popular vote was won by like 5 million or something.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Winning the popular vote was very nice, I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room with unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's great. And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much.
Is this a MAGA mandate?
And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races. And I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that, nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives. And I want to thank Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
It is one good-looking family.
My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous, and we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia. We miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now, standing on this stage. She'd be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman. I want to be the first to congratulate our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect of the United States, J.D. Vance. And his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Usha Vance. And he is a feisty guy, isn't he? You know, I've said, go into the enemy camp. And you know, the enemy camp is certain networks. And a lot of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say, all right, thank you very much. He actually looks like, he's like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it. And then he just goes in and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words.
Wild. Leadership.
Thank you very much. He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning, but he was, I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special. It lost that thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now, we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back. We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. If we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad fast. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice Maiden. Special, but the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat. And, but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, you know, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And I'm saying, only Elon can do this. It must be an Elon. And I tell the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And that very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually. But, you know, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again. So I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And especially because, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No. Nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon. That's great. And you know, when we had the tragic Hurricane Helene, and it hit North Carolina, they were really devastated. The water, this was a big water, as big as we've ever seen, water hurricane. It built lakes out of nothing. Fields became lakes, and the danger was unbelievable. And the people from North Carolina came to me and they said, would it be possible, at all possible, for you to speak to Elon Musk? We need Starlink. I said, what's Starlink? It's a form of communication. So I called Elon, and I'll tell you what, he had, and it was very dangerous. People would die. They had no communication. All the wires were down. I called Elon Musk. I said, Elon, you have something called Starlink. Is that right? Yes, I do. What the hell is it? He said, it's a communication system that's very good. I said, Elon, they need it really, really badly in North Carolina. Can you get it? He had that there so fast. It was incredible. So, and it was great. It saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives. But he's a character. He's a special guy. He's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. We have to protect our super geniuses. I want to thank the U.S. Open champion. He's a fantastic golfer. Slightly longer than me. It's a little bit longer than me. Just a little bit. Bryson DeChambeau is up here someplace. That tough guy. So Dana started UFC and came to me, do you mind if I use your, nobody wanted to give him a rinse because they said it's a rough sport, a little rough. And I helped him out a little bit, and I went and they said, this is the roughest sport I've ever seen, but I began to like it and he loved it, and nobody's done a better job in sports. And you know, he's a very motivational kind of a guy, what he does. He gets these fighters and they really go at it, and it's become one of the most successful sports enterprises anywhere at any time. It's doing so well. I'd like to ask Dana just to say a couple of words because people love to hear from him. Dana, please.
Nobody deserves this more than him, and nobody deserves this more than his family does. This is what happens when the machine comes after you. What you've seen over the last several years, this is what it looks like. Couldn't stop him. He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hardworking man I've ever met in my life. His family are incredible people. This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family. I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelk boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, busting with the boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan. And thank you, America. Thank you. Have a good night.
Forever be remembered as the day the American people regained. Forever be remembered as the day the American people regained control of their country. So I just want to say that on behalf of this great group of people, these are hardworking people. These are fantastic people, and we can add a few names like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He came in. And he's going to help make America healthy again. And now he's a great guy, and he really means it. He wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. Bobby, stay away from the liquid gold. Other than that, go have a good time, Bobby. We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes. We can do things that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. China doesn't have what we have. Nobody has what we have. But we have the greatest people also. Maybe that's the most important thing. This campaign has been so historic in so many ways. We've built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition. They've never seen anything like it in all of American history. They've never seen it. Young and old, men and women, rural and urban, a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars, 4 years, we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time. But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together, we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 900, one something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make our country better than it ever has been. And I said that many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission. The task before us will not be easy, but I will. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that. I've seen that. I saw that in the first term when we became more and more successful. People started coming together. Success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it, because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, definitely official, right? Not some sort of last minute crap we're going to see, is there? I want him to dance.
Yeah, we need.
There's a bunch of people are going to. There's a bunch of people are going to come out on Diddy's and Epstein's list.
Yeah, I can see a lot of good coming out of this.
Yeah, it's gonna be epic.
I think one of the things
they're gonna find credit card receipts from a bunch of people supplying Diddy with baby oil. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
See, what a lot of people don't realize, what happens in America also affects the free world as well. I mean, Australia, Canada, it affects everybody.
Well, you guys are just you're our backyard, and you know we pay people to keep it mowed.
But
you're right. You're right, though, Terry.
Actually, America has a star on it, Reyes, but it's not put on your flag as yet.
Well, you're right, because as I was saying earlier, I think we just
when are we annexing Australia as the 51st state?
Not till we get it straightened out.
Yeah, we got the exterminators and the lawn people going in there to clean it up. Then we'll annex it.
Well, yeah, everything in Australia wants to kill you, so we need to take care of that stuff
That's right,
first.
that's
Well, our leaders now will just have to kind of re-polish their bloody tongue and start kissing a different ass now.
Start shaping up in multiple areas in terms of international situations. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, things going on with China, and all of the stuff that they've been doing in and around the Philippines. And other areas within the South China Sea and stuff like that. Like, this is going to be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm going to find
how those other actors.
I'm going to find it interesting what's going to happen in the Ukraine now, and also, as you said, in the South China Sea.
Well, let me give you gentlemen a posit and proffer this.
Can we tone down the volume of the YMCA?
Oh yeah.
So I can hear you.
Yeah. You don't want to miss this.
Just get rid of the video altogether.
I don't know. It looks kind of like a party going on where we're hanging out.
Bring us all back up. I don't need to watch these guys partying.
Here we go. Hold on. So let me posit and proffer this and see what you guys think. Roll this nugget around in your noggin. I think that Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, Modi, and a couple of guys down means together. And I think that they've all made agreements about the shit that needs to be cleaned up and out.
Yeah.
But everybody else has figured it out. And they realize but everybody else has figured it out. And they realize that the only way to really get shit done is go make a fucking deal. And who knows how to make deals better than Trump? And oh, by the way, he's done it one time. He found out where it was broke before. Now he's got a team of intellectuals and people who are accomplished and individuals, strong characters that are in there. They're going to go help him do the shit he couldn't do the first time. So I think they're all working together, and that's why we haven't seen World War III. That's why we've seen a lot of the change we've been seeing around the planet. And now we're going to see it accelerated.
I wonder if you'll get the criminal charges. I wonder if you get criminal charges pushed against the Biden family.
Well, there's plenty there.
Why
but
stop
I don't
there?
Think
Go back to Hillary.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yes, for sure.
I think there's going to be a bunch of them that are going to be rounded up.
Some more water.
Yep. I think there's going to be a bunch rounded up. And it'll be based on part of the, what we're seeing is the great reveal. Because all of a sudden we've got information and we're seeing things that a lot of us suspected. And, we put on, our various tinfoil hats depending on the subject, and we'd go snorkeling around in that information pool and go, what's in there? But all of it seems to be
really interested, and I probably hung up on it because of how long I spent fighting the Chinese up in Grand Forks through our local government and stuff like that with what they were trying to do there. I'm really interested to see how all that's going to shape up, because, I know, Xi's not a dumb man at all. But, you talk about, well, they all understand that the best way to do things is make a deal, but you've got China just unveiling their J-35, which is basically, the F-35 ordered off of Wish. And, it's like all these posturing things going on that he's doing, and then all the problems with the Philippines ramming boats, doing all that stuff and becoming more aggressive. I'm really wondering if a lot of that's going to stop.
I think it's all part of the theater. I think that's all orchestrated, and it'll stop because now the world was waiting to see if Don the Dude, Don the Deal Maker, was going to be successful in what would be an epic historic political comeback, which is exactly what happened, which is exactly what we called, which is exactly what was needed, and real quick now. And I think that the original plans that the folks that were in control of things and fucking things up, I think that their plans.
Meanwhile, Trump and Vance and all those guys are all sitting there. And meanwhile, Trump and Vance and all those guys are all sitting there. And Trump's putting the cigar in his mouth and saying, "I love it when a plan comes together."
Yeah. Well, G, what do you think? You've been quiet back there.
Oh, I just been listening to you guys and watching some of the polls and stuff to see if anything changes yet. You know, because last I saw was 277. But I think as soon as Trump is able to take control, not that he isn't in control now, I think, like you said, he's been working behind the scenes. And there's a lot of people that's just had a bad day today. I mean, look at Zelensky. What's he going to do? No more money's going to come through because we got control of Congress now and Trump.
Well,
we're going to have tariffs put in on everybody, so they're going to have to work with them one way or another.
There's going to be a whole bunch of deal making going on.
If they want to be successful, like we're going to be successful, they're going to have to make some deals.
I don't
Apparently,
know if
Kamala Harris won't be giving a speech until tomorrow, so she's probably wiping tears away from her eyes.
I think she's going to wake up from yelling at all night binge she went on first.
Yeah.
Well, she's probably yelling at all of her staffers because we all know that, you know, she's an absolute jerk to her staffers.
She's passed out.
Narcissist.
She ain't saying nothing to nobody.
She's a narcissist.
She's passed out. Yeah. I'm not entirely convinced that everything's going to dry up with Ukraine because that's kind of if well, okay, but that was shit that we were
weapons facilities.
That's shit that we were running with them, not the Russians.
Nazis.
So you don't think that 2014 coup?
I'm not even going to get started on the Azov battalion with those guys, but
no.
What I'm saying is that look, yes, Ukraine has had a crap ton of corruption. I will never deny that.
Our 2014 coup was what started all this.
Well, he's got a working relationship with Putin, so he's going to keep him in check, and he might gain a little bit of ground that he wants to make him happy. But I guarantee Zelensky will be gone, and we'll have somebody else in his place.
I think
don't know if Zelensky will be gone.
I think they'll also guarantee that Ukraine will not join NATO, and that Ukraine will also become a neutral country as a buffer zone between the West. Right, so I think
really kind of what it should have been anyway.
Yeah, and they'll use the oil. Once America's got their oil pipeline in, you don't play ball, mate. We're going to sell our oil so cheap, you're not going to sell yours.
Right.
You know, without
Putin is an old school Cold Warrior. He is a Soviet revisionist kind of guy, like, you know, kind of like that's kind of weird. That sort of happened. You know, like, I don't know. I worry about Putin doing something interesting. What exactly, I don't know, but it's one of those things where he's so old school about it.
I think it'll be the interesting thing will be the deal that he makes with Trump and Xi Jinping and Modi, and they're going to drive it through the financial system into the BRICS.
Right.
So I think that's going to be where everybody's going to go play ball. Jim, you've been quiet up there. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think, first of all, there's a lot of people that are opposed to what we stand for are probably shitting kittens right now.
Shitting kittens. I'm not sure I've heard that one. And
You're not
the
wrong.
visual alone.
It's you.
And they don't want to
It's
come
authentic.
out. I mean, they're just going like this, holding on. I mean, you think they'd be fluffy, but they're not.
I don't think they're shitting kittens. I think they're shitting full-grown tomcats that are angry on the way
bricks,
out.
mate. No, bricks. But personally, honestly,
Cinder
I
blocks.
don't think there's any trouble with Russia or China. I think the trouble is Iran. That's where the problem is, because those bastards, they've got the nuke, and they
Go will fuck you up. All
Right,
you know
yeah,
is Jesse
exactly.
Peppers, that'll fuck you
You know,
up. big
after the
time.
Chinese Revolution, they didn't bother all the foreigners living there. They actually admitted, say, they're okay, leave them alone because we can breed them out. And that's what they've done. They bred them out. There's half-caste, quarter-caste Europeans in China, but they all look Chinese.
So
that's a
they play such a long game. I'm not going to stop worrying about China until China finally drops it. Like,
China's got
I'll
a lot
probably
of
be
problems
dead and in
right
the ground
now.
by then.
China's got a
They
lot of
do.
problems. Their population is not hanging. Their banks are having trouble. They got all kinds of stuff going down, just like everybody else. Which is one of the reasons. Which is one of the reasons I think there's going to be a fuckload of deals going down, because everybody's got their own bit of fuck-uppery, and a lot of it has to do with all of the ideology that has just got spanked. And I'm talking spanked.
Oh, yeah.
And this spank, the spank of the skank in the rank, there's another Geezer Geek prediction. The shit that's about to go down after what happened tonight it's going to be, you're going to see stuff flooding.
Problems with the tariffs, but like China and what their response is going to be. The fact that they're having the problems that they're having, I think it is not out of the realm of possibility that you kind of run into that cornered, wounded animal situation.
Yeah.
Where we've got nothing to lose. We're going to go full tilt boogie, balls to the walls. And, we don't care who we take down with us. Like, I think that's something that could very much happen because of the amount of hawks and militarists within the CCP. Xi Jinping has very much that part of him, even though he has a lot of acumen in terms of business and dealing with stuff like that and handling that kinds of things. He still has like the old school Chinese Communist Party power, military might kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I agree.
How many world
I agree
leaders do
there's
you
some of that.
know are willing to kill themselves? They're willing to give up the people that are under them, but they will not kill themselves. They will not initiate that plan.
I think that the way they look at people is that they're fodder and that they're useful and to reach their ends, and by any means possible. And if it gets bad enough, I wouldn't be
flops that are around this right now. If you don't think that we have the same tech that the Israelis have been showing off over there in the Middle East, I mean,
dude.
Dude,
the
that
pager
should be
move
enough
was
to put
brilliant.
the fear of Allah into your shorts. Because if they can be that accurate and
right.
be that, accurate and effective.
Could you imagine?
That's on a whole nother level.
Can you imagine the phone call? Trump and these leaders say, okay, you live here and your cell phone number is in your pager. You have a pager?
Hey, what model phone do you have? Oh, really? I've heard about that one. Is that the C4 model?
Comes with 5 grams of
something special in it. Yeah.
But hey, don't laugh. During Desert Shield and Desert Storm, I was tasked to be at Guard Bureau and read every message going to and from CENTCOM, and that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I was scheduled to go to Saudi Arabia. I was going to be doing interviews.
Yeah.
And, we're in this briefing, and Air Force guys giving us the briefing. And Saddam Hussein, we think he's in this block and maybe in this building over here, and that's we're going to make that as a potential target. And it went on for about 20 minutes. I wanted to make a copy of it, but I just couldn't. That was just
right.
It was a message.
That would have been one to frame.
The one when you hear what I saw, and I read the whole thing, and I got goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I think about it. It's from Margaret Thatcher, who is still the Prime Minister of the UK, to Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein, president, the Islamic Republic of Iraq, #1 Main Street. They said, if for any reason you use chemical, biological, or nuclear agents on the coalition forces or your own people, period, it was spelled out, the United Kingdom will retaliate with a full-fledged nuclear strike on Baghdad within 24 hours. Signed, Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister, with the full concurrence of Parliament.
They didn't call her the Iron Lady for nothing.
And I mean, I got goosebumps all over my body. I wanted to copy that. It wasn't classified. It was probably considered sensitive or unclassified.
Yeah.
Special handling. But it couldn't be no foreign, it couldn't be no foreigners on a GI during that 15 or 18 month time frame.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gents, I think I'm going to call tonight because I want to get up early and watch some talking heads explode tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the after show or the morning show.
Yeah. Well, is she going to have tears in her eyes? Do you reckon?
I mean, I
want to see everybody on The View lose it.
Oh,
that'd be worth watching.
Tomorrow, all the media that we don't like is totally going to be worth watching.
Oh,
all of it is going to be. Are you
God,
kidding
yeah.
me?
Robert,
do you think you're going to be kissing Trump's bum?
Robert, will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you send JP my email address?
Your contact, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you guys connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same here, Robert. Same here too. Nice meeting you, JP.
It's good meeting you, Terrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, Jesus, 1:20 in the morning here. So
I got 2:24 here. So
what a historic
it's
day!
Going on 4:30 p.m. here.
What a historic day and an event, and we got to do a live stream coverage, and I got to tell you, there's something kind of special about that. It's besides the fact that we're able to do this, but the event was the future. We got to cover the future happening right in front of us.
Mm-hmm. It's just something I've always enjoyed to do, and I wanted to be a history teacher at one time. And then I realized I would probably have students like me, and I'd end up in prison on death row for strangling some little shit because he spit on me, or he told me to go fuck myself. Oh, really?
Well, and that's it's interesting, that you bring that up, Jim, because actually, so when I was my last couple of years while I was at 10th Mountain Division before I went to go instruct at Fort Leonard Wood,
I was really looking at going that route, the high school, let me go teach high school history. Like, I want to educate people on this stuff so they're critical thinkers, all of that kind of thing. And then I instructed at Fort Leonard Wood as I was like, take an instructor gig, right? I'll instruct at the schoolhouse for my own MOS. If I can deal with a bunch of freshly minted warrant officers, I could probably deal with high schoolers. And I could deal with those guys okay, but I realized pretty quickly, though, that I was like, I'm not going to be able to deal with kids. I'm only going to have to work with adults. But getting into the Air Force's Museum and History program, one of the toughest things for me has been trying to look at events in a fashion that this is going to be historic. Triggers in my brain, whereas trying to record stuff, it's kind of one of those things that's like, wait, is this worthwhile? Is this important? Does this really matter? I don't know. Look, stuff like this, though, when you see something like this, it's that whole thing like you were talking with getting those communiques across your desk of like, I want to make a copy. I need to make a copy of this. It's every once in a while you see those things and you're just like, I kind of get it now, So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Now, until the
Yeah,
next
you and Jim have a lot in common, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, from now
Sounds
until the
like
next.
it.
A lot in common, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, from now
Sounds
until the
like
next,
it.
for the next 15 to 18 months is probably going to be the biggest change the United States of America has ever encountered since probably the end of the Civil War.
Yeah.
I think.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see Donald Trump turn around and say, "I'm not talking to you. You're fake news."
Well, you
I'm
guys,
looking forward to that.
you guys do know that part of the when you wander in the woo, you run into the Ethereum and the Materium, and you find out that there are cycles within cycles of
Here we go.
all the energetic expressions within the cosmos, and
Drugs will do
they
that too.
have markers. They make markers. So.
Where do you get all this
that
shit?
I could have caught it. I thought I saw the professor before he started in with his Materium and Ethereum stuff.
Yeah,
just
now,
kind of
here it comes.
kind of lean over.
Here it comes. Think about this. In our
You started out so well, and now look where we're at.
yeah, see, and it's all because I tried to end this thing 20 minutes
I'm
ago.
offended.
And these two tube misers got all. They need to go get a hanger.
Oh no, Jim's offended. Jim's offended.
Back to 1776.
The guy who was just bragging about Mossad telling him where Saddam Hussein was offended.
You better watch out when you start giving dates, Robert. You might get a fact check on you. Saying false information.
Oh yeah, well I'm past that now. They have just recently when they tried to pull that on me, and they found out who they were fucking with, and they had to go, whoa, we need to back off a little. So I'm going to ride that.
Friggin' listen to him.
All right, gentlemen. Hey, let's sign it off before we keep going here, because that's what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for.
It's
and
the only
what
time,
a great
it's
night.
the only time during the week on Saturdays I get a chance to talk.
Well, pick up the phone and call somebody.
I mean, I enjoy the whole crew. I mean, it's just the geezer geeks are just a lot of fun.
Well,
Hey,
the
Jim,
thing
what's the
is
latest
that
documentary you're in at the moment with the Cousin Brothers? What's the latest doco you're in with the Cousin Brothers at the moment?
That's disclosure, a big disclosure thing they're doing. I was
named it for you, at least on my
I mean,
end.
thanks, G. I'm like, it's just like herding. I'm like, it's just like herding squirrel nuts.
Cheers, Terrence.
Jesus. All right, everybody. Live long and prosper, because the future is now.
All right, Geezer's out.
Nice meeting you,
care.
JP.
Good meeting you, Terrence.
Catch you later, guys. Catch you later, Jim. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. You take care.
Well,
and there were just the two
good
of us.
talking.
But I got to crash. I was up early today. I have a massage therapist who can. She weighs 95 pounds. She's 4'10". She's mostly American Indian. But I drive 50 miles each way. For her to really do really deep muscle massage, and my shoulders been fucked up so much, and of course when you get as old as I am, things wear out, or things when you're 20, when you do something like that and you crash and burn,